Hello, everyone. And I would like to wish you, first of all, a very Merry Christmas, or a very merry day of whatever time you watch this. But specifically, this video has to do with Yule Christmas time, and I thought we could all take a moment to think about things from the spirit of Christmas, not think so hard into everything or think about what we do and don't believe. This video is for everyone, whatever anyone may believe or not. But for this video, we will examine the true spirit of Christmas and indeed the true spirit of, perhaps, life itself. I have here a letter, and it's getting dripped on, but I happened to find it in the library, and I thought it was very good for this time of year, obviously, and it's getting dripped on again. It just got dripped on again. You may have even heard of this letter before. It's a famous letter that was written long ago, so perhaps it has been done before, but I'm going to read it to you, and then I'm going to go over it and look at some of the things that I think perhaps can be taken away from it, no matter what we think. Yeah, so you could call this a reaction video, perhaps. Not sure how many reaction videos have been done with a piece of paper on YouTube. The letter is titled, "Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus." In 1897, Dr. Philip O'Hanlon, a coroner's assistant on Manhattan's Upper West Side, was asked a question by his then 8-year-old daughter, Virginia, which many a parent has been asked before, whether Santa Claus really exists. O'Hanlon deferred. He suggested Virginia wrote, asking the question to one of New York's most prominent newspapers at the time, The Sun, assuring her that if you see it in the sun, it is so. And so she wrote, "Dear Editor, I am 8 years old. Some of my little friends say there is no Santa Claus. Papa says if you see it in the sun, it's so. Please tell me the truth. Is there a Santa Claus? Virginia." And the Sun reporter wrote back, "Virginia, your little friends are wrong. They have been affected by the skepticism of a skeptical age. They do not believe except they see. They think that nothing can be which is not comprehensible by their little minds. All minds, Virginia, whether they be men's or children's, are little. In this great universe of ours, man is a mere insect, an ant in his intellect, as compared with the boundless world about him. As measured by the intelligence capable of grasping the whole of truth and knowledge. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. He exists certainly as love and generosity and devotion exist. You know that they abound and give to your life its highest beauty and joy. Alas, how dreary would be the world if there were no Santa Claus. It would be as dreary as if there were no Virginias. There would be no childlike faith then, no poetry, no romance to make tolerable this existence. We should have no enjoyment except in sense and sight. The eternal light with which childhood fills the world would be extinguished. Not believe in Santa Claus? You might as well not believe in fairies. You might get your papa to hire men to watch in all the chimneys on Christmas Eve to catch Santa Claus. But even if they did not see Santa Claus coming down, what would that prove? Nobody sees Santa Claus. But that is no sign that there is no Santa Claus. The most real things in the world are those that neither children nor men can see. Did you ever see fairies dancing on the lawn? Of course not. But that's no proof that they are not there. Nobody can conceive or imagine all the wonders there are, unseen and unseeable in the world. You may tear apart the baby's rattle and see what makes the noise inside, but there is a veil covering the unseen world which not the strongest man, nor even the united strength of all the strongest men that ever lived, could tear apart. Only faith, fancy, poetry, love, romance can push aside that curtain and view and picture the supernal beauty and glory beyond. Is it all real? Ah, Virginia, in all this world there is nothing else real and abiding. No Santa Claus, thank God. He lives, and he lives forever. 1,000 years from now, Virginia, nay, 10 times 10,000 years from now, he will continue to make glad the heart of childhood. And so he wrote. What can we take away from that this time of year, and for all the times of the year? Well, let's go over it, shall we? First of all, if you see it in the sun, it is so. Well, how the reporting has changed now, hasn't it? Oh dear. But, ignoring that part, they have been affected by the skepticism of a skeptical age. And that was back in 1897, and I'd say we're a lot more now. We live in an age where they think that nothing can be which is not comprehensible by their little minds. And this is true. We live in a time now that everything has to be scientific before anything will be accepted, and yet so much of our lives is based on things that are incomprehensible. As he says, and this is what I took from it, and why I wanted to make this video, because he says there is a Santa Claus, he exists as certainly as love and generosity and devotion exist, and yet there are some who wouldn't even believe in those things nowadays. How many times have you heard such cynicism? I bet you have. And he says there would be no childlike faith then, no poetry, no romance to make tolerable this existence, and that's what we have lost, I believe. That's what we are losing, is the ability to have poetry, romance, and childlike faith in things. Everything must be concrete, clear, not in any way doubtable before we will even accept it. And you may tear apart the baby's rattle and see what makes the noise inside, but there is a veil covering the unseen world which not the strongest man nor even the united strength of all the strongest men that ever lived could tear apart. Only faith, fancy, poetry, love, and romance can push aside that curtain and view and picture the supernal beauty and glory beyond. And there is the truth of the matter, that we will only be able to see the beauty of life, not through science and things, but by our own whimsy. Sure, with science we can look at a flower and say, this flower is made up of these molecules and that molecule, and it does this, and that is very interesting indeed. But can we look at its beauty, looking at its each component as if it's a machine? No, only we can do that with our inner sense of the feeling that it gives us. Though it sounds like a religious thing, it is true that the world needs more faith in things. And whether we follow a religion or not, we can have faith in everything around us. Just like what I went on about in the last video. Feel the whimsy, feel the good, rather than focusing on the bad. Seeing what we do have, rather than seeing what we don't have. But what is the true meaning of Christmas anyway? Is it family? In many ways, it can be. I believe that the true meaning of Christmas, or Yule, or this time of year, is reintroducing ourselves to ourselves. Refinding our power. As a song says, when it seems the magic slips away, We'll find it all again on Christmas Day. Believe in what your heart is saying. Hear the melody that's playing. There's no time to wait. There's so much to celebrate. Believe in what you feel inside and give your dreams the wings to fly. You'll have everything you need if you just believe. And they're talking about believe in everything that you want. So, rediscover your power. Find the light within you. And have yourself a very Merry Christmas and a good Yule.